Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Jared Lee, and I'm joined, as usual, by my lovely wife, Jamie Lee. So, Jamie, how you doing?
I am doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Your voice sounds a little rougher. You're feeling better, but your voice, I just wanted, because people would be like, what's wrong with your voice? But just
Sorry.
a little gravelly.
It's a little gravelly. I apologize.
You don't have to
try
you don't
my
have to
best.
apologize.
Well, I just want to sound my best, obviously, but I can't control it. It is getting better. Like Jared said, I don't feel bad anymore, but it's just a lingering, stuff in my throat and coughing a lot. But tis the season, if you will.
That is very true.
Mm-hmm.
You do this sometimes where you sound like a lounge singer from time to time.
I know. I'm getting ready to debut my album. Lounging with Jamie.
Lounging with Jamie.
Lounging with the leaves.
Yeah, I will say there's a lot of just stuff going around in general. So
oh my gosh.
Take your vitamins, everybody. Get your sleep.
Mm-hmm.
It's going around out there. And weirdly enough, I feel like we brought the weather from Missouri back to Florida.
Yeah.
Because it feels like Missouri lately. And I remember in Missouri, like when it's all gloomy and cloudy, and I was like, these are the things I wanted to escape from the Midwest. And now I'm like, I'm having the same feelings I had in Missouri, and I don't like it.
Well, we were just talking about this, but this is I think this is the coldest winter that we've had since we moved here.
It has to be. I don't recall it. I mean, at night, it's still, depending where you live in Florida, where we're at, like in the winter at night, it can still get down to like the 40s.
Yeah, but
like
the highs in the 50s.
That's what I'm saying.
For a long time.
Usually,
I'm like, what?
Yeah, usually during the day though, you're talking like 50s, 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's fine. But yeah, it's been chilly, and it's just been overcast a lot. I'm just like, you know what?
I know.
I hope it just needs to get it out of its system in January. Don't know what's going on here, but I just wanted to at least, give my opinion on the weather because I'm tired of it. I don't know what's going on with it. I just want to at least put it on record that I've had enough of it.
Jared's had enough.
And the sickness, it's just, it comes with the winter. But
Mm-hmm.
either way, well, there is some stuff going on in the theme park realm that,
Yes.
in terms of Disney, with some stuff closing. Not a lot of news, kind of a slow news week right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go over a few news stories that are happening and some anniversaries happening in the parks.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to talk about the best times to visit Disney World this year, because I do think it could be quite a different year if you're looking to if you're looking to go to Disney or only Disney or however you're looking to go, perhaps. It could be some lower crowd times than usual potentially. So we're going to look at that and give our opinions on it at the very least there. But before we do that, if you're watching us on YouTube, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. And if you're not watching us on YouTube and you would like to, you can find us over on YouTube at CTM Podcast, where we have video versions of the show over there. And of course, if you're listening on good old trusty audio podcast platform that basically everybody has in their pocket all the time, you can find us on any of the platforms there. Just ask you please subscribe to the show and leave us a review if you would not mind. We greatly appreciate that. And if you're wanting a way to contribute to the show, you want some new apparel, new year, new you, however you want to justify it, you can go check out Capture the Magic Apparel, which is our own apparel company. We handprint everything in our own shop here, ship it out from us, design it from us. So everything is done in-house from us. We print on the highest quality shirts out there. And if you're looking to go to the Club 32 meetup that's coming up, we have the new meetup shirts in the shop there as well that you can check out. But we have 100% cotton shirts from Comfort Colors. We have Next Level shirts. We have hoodies, sweatshirts, basically anything you want on a shirt, we can make it and put it on there for you. And we've got some new designs hitting the shop this week. And in fact, you get 25% off your order for a limited time by using the promo code New Year, and that'll get you 25% off. Plus, if you spend $50 or more, you do get free shipping on top of that, so you can save money either way there. So if you want to check that out, and go to ctmapparelco.com and use the promo code New Year to get 25% off of your order. And again, if you spend over $50, you get free shipping on top of that. So if you're looking for some shirts and contribute to the show, that's a great way to do it. So again, ctmapparelco.com and use the promo code New Year. So, all right, well, let's get into the few news stories that we have.
I thought you were going to say the future.
The future.
Let's get into the future.
Remember the future. No, what was the year 2000?
The year 2000.
Which at one point was the future. Okay.
It was.
The first story we have is that Space Mountain, along with another ride, by the way, turned 50 yesterday.
Yes, it did. 50 years. January 15th, 1975. And, Disney's been kind of talking about this the last week or so about, its history and the fact that, it was Walt's idea, even though it didn't open until 75. It was his idea from the time he was thinking about Matterhorn. But there's a whole bunch of information about that, which is great. Space Mountain's great. Loved it as a kid. I can't ride it as an adult anymore. Motion sickness issues, and just, I like my back. I don't want to break my back.
What I was going to say, like, is it great? Because it's a rough ride.
It's fun.
I mean, the slogan should be providing migraine since 1975 or whatever you want to put it.
It's not like, it's not like the new roller coasters that are a lot smoother. It's gone through some changes over the years. It's fine. But I'm mostly excited about the 50th anniversary of another attraction. It's the same day, same year, and it's Carousel of Progress.
Which they're not talking about, strangely enough.
And they haven't mentioned it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. I mean, I think Carousel Progress is pretty great. It at one point was my favorite attraction, which is crazy. Like, I would make my parents go watch that show every time I went to Disney because I loved it.
Yeah.
Obviously it has also seen better days, and as time goes on, the last scene is, gets more and more outdated, and some more changes should come to it basically. But I still love it, and I wish Disney would talk about it more, but they're not, at least not right now.
I'm actually surprised because Space Mountain is still a very popular ride. Mm-hmm. Why they have not done a track replacement on that thing and updated it where it's smooth, because I feel like in terms of ROI, you already have a very successful ride that, and I think a lot of people will look at it as it's a rough ride. If you updated that to where it was smooth and enjoyable a little bit more, I think you would have it would be one of the most popular rides in Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't.
I feel like it's an easy win thing to refurb, especially in this time period, the refurbing, all this other stuff like that. I feel like that's a prime candidate for it.
I wonder if it's because it's so old that the way, they'd have to go through a lot of more checks and balances. If they redid it, they would have to completely tear it apart, need more room, need more all this stuff, because you make roller coasters different now than you did back in 50 years ago. I
mean, maybe, but I just feel like the concept is, it's one that's still popular even with the issues with the ride. So I feel like, I don't know. But yes, both of those are now 50.
And I actually did a Distery episode. So we used to have this show called Distery for Club 32ers, and it was on its own private feed. And we basically did a deep dive into an attraction, a land, a concept within Disney, and we just talked about it. And we did one about Space Mountain years ago. And maybe we'll dive into that and maybe put it on the regular feed.
If we have it, this is the first I've heard of this. If we still have it,
do we still have it? I
don't know. I'll have to look.
Okay. Well, if we do find it, we'll put it on there. So.
Well, there you go. Okay. All right. There's also an update to the app, the iOS, the Apple app for the My Disney experience on mobile ordering.
Yeah, so now your mobile order status will show up directly on the lock screen. You can even tap on, because it's a live activity feature, you can even tap on it and notify the restaurant that you're here instead of going straight to the app. So it's kind of I think they were testing it for a little bit, and they finally made it to where it's permanent. Not all of the mobile order locations are using this yet or have been, implemented into this, but it is happening. So yeah, look for that. If you have a mobile order, you can just go to your lock screen and be like, oh, check in in however many minutes, or you're preparing your food or whatever it says. So
I mean, that is useful, because the My Disney Experience app, if you have to get out of it or something like that, it's kind of a hassle to get back to try and find your order, some of the things. That app's not the easiest thing to navigate. It's not the worst, but it definitely has its annoyances. If you do the unlock my door feature at the hotels, it's you got, I don't know, you can't get to it quickly. Things like that. So I think, that's a nice convenient thing to have on the home screen there.
Oh yeah. So. I mean, I feel like we use mobile order every time we go, at least once. So
yeah,
it's nice to have for sure.
Very true. All right, next story we have is there is a refurbishment happening that could affect the exit strategy at Magic Kingdom, which could cause some headaches.
Yeah, so there's a lot of refurbishments happening at Magic Kingdom and basically all around the resort. But this one I feel like could affect you guys. So the Emporium is actually doing a refurb on a section of, I mean, I don't even know. I can't even say like what location it really is, but it's the one that is kind of closest to the Casey's Corner exit.
Mm-hmm.
So like that whole section from Casey's Corner where you could walk through Emporium and then just basically all the way into Town Square. So it is under construction or under refurbishment from Casey's Corner all the way into the I guess I call it the transition room because it's like a smaller room between the big room with all the new stuff and then the stuff that has like the t-shirts and all that. So it's hard. I can't explain it very well exactly which area this is, but just know that you cannot walk from Town Square to Casey's Corner and outside through the Emporium right now. You will have to go outside and go around.
Okay.
I think that's important.
I don't think that's going to affect. I don't know how many people use it that way, but it will affect some people.
I'm thinking when you're exiting the park,
right?
It's going to be an issue.
It could be.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we talked last week about how, well, at least part of Dinoland USA is closing. It's all happening in sections and segments, and I don't know. They're doing stuff at some point. Some things are closed down. The Triceratops Spin is closed down, but they have brought in some new entertainment. This entertainment act is called Echo Rhythmics Drummers. They appear in front of Cementosaurus now. So
that big dinosaur that's at the entrance.
Right.
By Nemo. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess some things to look at and see. I don't know.
They're the same musicians that played on the flotillas whenever they were here. They were using those. So we're familiar with their sound, but their I guess their theme is like recycling, reusing, reduce, all that stuff.
Like Captain Planet.
Kind of, yeah.
The worst superhero ever.
Captain Planet. I don't think I know who Captain Planet is, actually.
You never watched Captain Planet?
No, I don't think
He was the weird guy with the green hair, and all the kids like, Earth, wind, fire. And they put their rings together, and out came Captain Planet, and he'd go save the day and then lecture you on how you hurt the environment as he did it.
What is this from? Is this a cartoon?
Oh, yeah, it was a cartoon when I was a kid. Like, it wasn't one I loved. I remember it was on. I don't remember what channel it would have been on, but yeah, it was a cartoon.
Okay. I mean, like, I've heard the term Captain Planet before, but I didn't know who he was.
You had a bunch of kids that would stick their rings together. It wasn't nearly as cool as Power Rangers.
I was going to say, it sounds like Power Rangers.
Yeah, I mean, it was clearly a show where they saw the success of Power Rangers, and they were like, let's do it for the environment.
Woohoo.
Yeah, it didn't catch on really well.
Well, okay, then. I didn't sound like this is very Captain Planet.
I would say we can watch some Captain Planet episodes. I don't even know where you could find them. I'm guessing YouTube is like the only spot. I don't think anybody's really vying for those Captain Planet rerun contracts, but maybe they are. I don't know.
It's not a Disney thing?
Like I said, I don't remember what channel it would have been on. I mean, I just remember as a kid, and like I've seen clips from it, but I don't remember like if it was on a specific channel as a kid. You ever done that as a kid? Like you'd watch shows. Like I couldn't tell you where Ninja Turtles were as a kid, like on what network. I just remember watching it. I couldn't tell you where it was on or anything, but that's neither here nor there. That was kid Nintendo, whatever you call it, Cartoon Corner.
Cartoon Corner.
Yeah, that'd be a good show segment. So, all right, well, that's going to be it for the news. Like I said, not much news, other than just lots of refurbishments going on all over property. But we are going to talk about what is perhaps the best time to visit Disney World or best times to visit Disney World this year. And I think this is maybe this year and the next coming years is a little unique situation for this. But so we'll talk about the first one will be what is the best time to visit for crowds, at least potentially. Obviously, these things are not an exact science. They can change quite a bit here. But based on like crowd calendars and things like that, what look like the best times to visit for crowds?
Okay, so this is kind of, so again, this is going to be a little different this year versus last year. Not the years don't change that much, but things do shift around at Disney, and it depends on what's going on in Orlando in general. But we can kind of say late February to the first week of May. That's a good time to go. Those are low to medium crowds. Mm-hmm. Pretty much all of May until Memorial Day weekend. Summer, basically all summer, June through August. 4th of July hasn't been busy in years, which is crazy.
Yeah, the 4th of July, weirdly enough, is now a lot of pass holders are blocked out
That's true.
during 4th of July.
That's
but
true.
if you're not a pass holder, it hasn't been that busy for the last few years. Even around 4th of July hasn't been that bad.
Yeah. September, all of September, pretty much. I mean, like August and September have the least busy crowds of the year. Like if you were to look at a crowd calendar from literally anybody that makes crowd calendars, they are the ones that have the lowest crowds. I used to say the first 2 weeks of December, but that's not the case anymore. It is not low crowds anymore.
Yeah, although, I mean, the thing you have to bring into the wrinkle with this is nobody knows what it's, I would say, from May 22nd on, which is after Epic Universe opens, we don't know what the crowds are going to do.
Right.
That's, I mean, you can make predictions, you can look at things, but at the same time, like, we don't. I think May is going to be pretty open. Like, when you talk about June, July, especially, looking at the one we're looking at here, it says that it's like moderate. Which that may be them sort of just taking a guess and saying like we don't know, because I think that maybe if you look, it shows the entire month of June and July as moderate. I think that's a way of saying like we're not really sure what's going to happen here. I think that's the case with it there. So you could see a very slow time period in June, July, and so I mean if that is the case, you would see June, July, August, September being very slow.
Basically, too, there's been a shift since I'll say 2019, 2018, maybe, that people just aren't traveling to Florida as much when it's hot. Like when it's stifling hot, 95 degrees, 100 degrees in the summer, there's a whole bunch of people are like, I would rather take off work, take off school in the middle of the year and go to Disney than I would deal with the heat. And there's a lot more flexibility with people and their jobs and school. I feel like that's just become a big trend where people aren't going as much in the summer because of that. And that's making times like January super busy.
Yeah, I do feel like people have more flexibility in general now than they used to. So I mean, it's not that, I mean, people dealt with the heat before, but I do think that's the case, part of it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, it's hot in the middle of the summer. There's no getting around it. It is hot, but if you are willing to deal with the heat, you potentially could have lower crowds, which again, that would be not even 5 years ago. That would have been the complete opposite, but seems to be the case.
Well, speaking of weather.
Yes, we have one of the best times to visit, according to the weather. I'm going to go out right now and say anywhere from January to March is pretty perfect weather. I mean, this year it's a little cold at night, colder than usual, but typically it's not going to get down as cold as it has been, but you've had those cold fronts move in. But I mean, typically you're talking very comfortable during the day. I mean, probably wear jeans and a t-shirt. Now, the only caveat is, let's say the sun goes behind the clouds. Once the sun goes down, the temperature drops very quickly.
It's so cold.
And so the wind can blow a little bit. So it's always a good idea to have a jacket at least or something, kind of break that wind. But I would say January through March, you don't have the humidity. Temperatures are lower, like very comfortable just to be around, walking around the parks.
Yeah, I would agree. Sometimes February, into March can be a little interesting because sometimes it could be in the like mid high 80s and then the next day it's like 60s. So it kind of doesn't know what it is sometimes. Now, it depends on what the year is, like what year we're in, because sometimes it can fluctuate, sometimes it doesn't. But typically, yeah, that's the sweet spot. February, March, because it's like warm enough to swim. Like sometimes. At the hotel sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's still it's cooler at night.
Well, one thing people will ask when they go, like say December through January, March, February, March is like, what should I pack? And it's kind of like you need to kind of pack everything because it can be different each day. Yep. Like even in the same day, you all of a sudden like you didn't need one during the day, and all of a sudden you're gonna really want a hoodie.
Oh yeah. I
mean, I always tell people like athletic pants that are kind of thinner, a t-shirt, and a hoodie, and you'll probably be pretty good. Obviously if it gets really cold, you'll need something else, but at least it gives you something that you can at least throw on when it gets kind of chilly or something at night.
Right. And if you're like, you kind of have to decide especially with Orlando, with Florida in general, it's like, okay, it's 65 outside. Is this 65 sunny and I'm good in a t-shirt? Or 65, it's cloudy and windy and I'm going to freeze to death. There are two different versions of 65 degrees in Florida. So
yeah, that's true.
That is also something that you have to prepare for and, packing layers and whatnot. So
Very true.
you also mentioned you mentioned December. Also, December is a great weather time to go, and November, and also too, it doesn't rain that much in December and January, especially. Like the rain is
Yeah.
it's not wet at all.
I mean, in
so-
the summer, it's going to rain a lot.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
like every day.
Yeah. So I would say the second one would be November and December because the weather is cooling down as well. But you also have the Christmas stuff, which is nice. But it is busier.
It is busier.
It's going to be busier. And I guess, I don't know if we talked about in the crowd calendar one, or the times to visit, but obviously like November, December are very crowded.
Yeah, we're just talking about the best times right now. We can go
Right.
through the worst times.
Well,
as
I was just saying when we were talking about the best and worst, best times to go, November, December are very crowded for the most part. There's pockets in there you can find. And a lot of times, sometimes in the spring, it can be busy in certain sections as well. I mean, basically, as of right now, you've got like the first part of the year and then the summer are really the least busiest times for the most part. And then they got like September and stuff like that. But yeah, it's I would say November, December for weather is still pretty solid. And then basically after that, what would you say after that for like the next best weather time to go?
Oh, I don't mind up until May. It can get hot. May can be hot. Like it can get into the 90s for sure. But it's still like it's not as bad as the summer because you can still have cooler times at night or even like around 75 degrees where it feels like perfect at night. So those times I don't mind. And like also, you're getting to the point where it is getting warmer. It's getting lighter later. So there's also that too. So I'd say pretty much anywhere from the first half of the year, first 5 months, first 4 or 5 months is pretty good. And then from June to, through October into early November, I'd say it's hot.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the thing to remember too, though, is even when it's also hotter, like June, I think it's June through November or even December maybe is hurricane season.
I was getting ready to mention, you've got the summer and then you've got hurricane season, which can bring wrinkles. Anytime you're planning something during that time period, at any moment, your trip could be, changed due to a hurricane.
Which is why crowds are lower, especially in September and August.
Right.
Because those are really prime times for hurricanes.
And kids go back to school, so it's a little bit of a gamble. I mean, if it can pay off, but then even if you are still able to go, sometimes it adds a lot of stress because if you're flying, sometimes flights get delayed or canceled. Yeah. All sorts of things can happen. You may have to deal with a hurricane. So it's always a little bit of a risk during that time of the year to kind of plan a trip there. But plus side, you may have lower crowds. So, but all right, well, let's talk about events that people would like to check out. I mean, obviously there's not like a ton here. You've got the Epcot, festivals at Epcot that are going on
all year, except for the summer.
Right. Summer doesn't have them, but food festivals, walk around, eat food, get drinks, entertainment, stuff like that. And then you've got your Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. You got Mickey's Very Merry Christmas party. I suppose you could throw in there you have New Year's if you wanted to come down for New Year's.
That's an event.
I
It's a
want
big event.
nothing to do with it. Did you see the pictures and video from people? Like, people are out of their minds.
It's like that every year.
It is my nightmare. I do not want to be around that many people in that environment. It's not for me, but it is quite a party environment you can be around.
Yep.
But that is something some people will obviously want to check out. I would imagine a lot of those are locals, though. I wonder how many people travel from out of town for New. I mean, maybe it is more than I think. I don't know.
I don't know. That's a good question. Well, I do know that it was back in early December, maybe late November, they sold out of park reservations for that night.
Yeah.
So, and park reservations are either non-date based tickets or annual pass holders. So you're probably right. Probably a lot of pass holders.
I can see that.
But yep.
That would make sense. You do have like 4th of July, which they do like a fireworks show. They don't have it's not like there's no party really.
I have that DJ in front of the castle.
They do have the DJ in front of the castle.
And special food you can buy. I mean, it's not like it's not like Christmas or anything.
Yeah.
But
you could also throw in there the Run Disney events that go on if you're a runner. Those
for sure
those go on.
They do how many of those now? Walt Disney World Marathon, Princess Half, the Sunrise one, and then Wine and Dine. There's 4.
I'm actually not sure. I'm not a runner.
I believe it's 4. I think it's 4 every year. But yeah, it's a great time to go if you're a runner, and not necessarily lower crowds, but if it's an event that you may want to attend. So
Yeah, it might be something I would do. I like an athletic challenge, but the minute it's like you have to be up at 4 a.m, you've lost me.
yeah,
Not doing that.
here it is. Well, listen to this, Jared. Most people get up at like 2 because they have to be at the buses by like 3 or 3:30.
No,
And
God!
then
No, God, please, no!
Why?
and then have to be in their group, which I don't remember what it's called now, by like 4:30 because they start running at like 5.
Listen. Don't let my lack of enthusiasm for this ruin the fun. If it's something you enjoy yourself. Knock your socks off. I don't understand it at all.
Well,
I
you know
don't
how to do it.
I don't get it. I don't. Like, to me, even if it's something I loved, it's like, hey, do you want to do this thing? Like, yeah, I'm in. All right, we're waking up at 2 a.m. You can go pound sand. I'm going back to bed. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, I will just go do it at my leisure at like 8 a.m. like a rational human, I would just say. But
Rational human.
I say that I'm not really rational, but that's just
listen.
me. I don't understand it. But anyways, I know there's plenty of people that do it. They enjoy it. That's great.
Good for them.
Just please do not wake me up to go with you, or I will throw shoes.
I'll throw my shoes.
You do not want to deal with sleeping Jared in that situation.
Oh, no way.
You will be running with a limp.
Oh my goodness. It's a lot.
I don't know who I'm talking to.
A
Here.
lot.
I don't know who I'm talking to here. But anyways, but yeah, those are kind of the events. I mean, there's small things here and there were some holidays and things like that.
H2O glow nights that happens in the summer. After hours events. Yeah, there's stuff going on all the time. So
very true. All right, the next one I guess we could cover that is one probably a lot of people are interested in is cost savings. So obviously now that you have peak times and off-peak times, not only for hotels but for tickets, obviously it's going to be more expensive to go during what's perceived as busier times versus not as busy times. So that's obviously a way that you can save money by going in off-peak times.
But here's what's happened. Here's what's starting to happen. Because Disney does this, because they tier their tickets, and sometimes their hotels, to show like if it's a more expensive time to go because it's supposed to be busier, then people might say, I think I'm going to go to less busier times. So what they've started happening is like, crowds are starting to even out a little bit more, which is what they want. But sometimes where it used to be really low crowds has started not happening because of this ticket system.
Well, that and Disney also does, like say they got the marathons or the running events, but then they'll also have
competitions.
Yeah, competitions. They'll have travel agent conferences. Like they fill at least the hotel site up with a lot of things that can cause the hotel prices and availability hotel prices go up, availability goes down. So they do a lot of they a lot of times do things to try and get the parks filled up, especially what's perceived as slow times. But yeah, I mean that is the case. But I mean you're still, if you do look at Disney's calendar, essentially that is a crowd calendar. You can look at prices and see when it's cheaper to go and things like that. But
one thing I do want to mention, and I know Universal does this, but Disney does not. So if they only have like one hotel room left for a specific date, it doesn't change because of that. Does that make sense? So like Swan and Dolphin does that. Universal does it, where the less rooms they have available, the more the price goes up.
Right.
What's that called? There's a word for it. But they don't do that. They'll keep the price the same. It doesn't change.
That would kind of be called like surge pricing.
Yeah, I don't remember the word is, but anyway, so that is something good that they haven't started doing. They might start in the future. I don't know, but it's just tickets that are tiered that way. But I mean, like, obviously if it's a busier time of year, it's set that way, then the price is going to reflect that. I'm just saying, like, if it gets closer.
It's not as
dynamic.
Right, dynamic. It's
pricing.
not as like to the moment with the pricing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. I just want to point that out because I think it's important to know. So, but for off-peak times, you're looking again. Last week of January is a good time to get your tickets. First week of February, May weekdays before Memorial Day, mid-August through September, like we talked about. The week before the Sunday before Thanksgiving. Does that make sense?
No!
I just want to say no.
So the Sunday before Thanksgiving, that week prior to that is a good week to go. And then December weekdays before annual pass holders are blocked out, and that's usually the third week of December. Those are some off-peak times that you could get your tickets lower.
Yeah.
Basically, it reflects lower crowd levels, but not always.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I agree. That's about the time I was going to say.
Yeah.
I mean, you also typically think about if you go during the week, it's going to be cheaper than weekends.
Oh, yeah.
That's always something as well if you just want to keep it simple. And one of the cheapest times to go probably out of all the years, probably September. Because that's when they'll also run the most deals.
Yes.
Kids back to school, especially this year. I mean, I could really see it. I think a lot of it's going to depend on how the crowds do flow from Epic Universe and all that stuff like that. If Disney doesn't see people coming in, you could see some very aggressive ticket and hotel deals going on from like say July, August, September time period, like, and then them hoping maybe up until October, hoping they get a bump going into like the Christmas season. So that is a potential scenario. If you're wanting to wait and maybe think about going, you could see some deals, I think, during that time period.
Yeah.
If I were to guess, but
If you were to guess.
all right, let's talk about our favorite times to go.
Okay, I have a scenario for you that I think is pretty ideal if you're wanting to get the most out of your trip. You ready?
Sure.
Okay, so I think if you do a 10-night trip, which I know it's a longer trip, it's like a week and a half, but start it on October 31st all the way through around November 10th. And the reason I have this is because you could hit Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, probably the first Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, the first Jollywood Nights of the year, and the weather is starting to cool down. But you could hit all of those seasonal events. The crowds aren't terrible. It's about moderate crowds, and the weather is starting to cool down. I feel like that is a really good, like, overall time to go. What do you think? That scenario?
I mean, it's not a bad time to go.
You got Christmas decorations go up the first. I mean, you're going to see all that. Still see Halloween. Like,
It's a lot of parties.
it's a lot of parties. But again, if you want to get the most bang for your buck, this is when to do it.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, you've got a lot of points. I think for me, I don't know if I would want to do all the parties on the same trip. Just
That'd be
as
fun.
me personally speaking. But
Also, wine and dine is that in that time period too. So if you're a runner,
ugh. Now you just ruined the trip.
no, I'm just saying there's a lot going on in that like 10 days.
Hey, babe, let's go on vacation. Okay, what are we going to do? We're going to get up at 2 a.m. We're going to go run a lot. You want to go run? No, I don't. We're going to go run. You're like, this is,
You don't have
this
to
sounds
do
terrible,
it.
honey.
You don't have to do it. Another potential week that I think is good is the week right after Thanksgiving. So all the crowds dying down, everybody's going home for the holidays, and it's that right at like Monday, that Sunday right after Thanksgiving. It's usually a fairly decent week to go. Now it's not dead, but it's probably the least busy week in December.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, you've got festival holidays that started. You've got all the decorations up everywhere, including at the hotels. Because if you go earlier in November, the hotels don't have the decorations up yet. You got a candlelight processional. Again, crowds are fairly low, but not, super low. I don't know. I think that's a good week to go too. All this is centered around Christmas. I don't know if you noticed that.
I have noticed. Well, I mean, I think
Christmas.
that's our favorite time to go is Christmas. I mean,
Yeah.
no, I mean, in years past, I would say one of my favorite times was like January, February, but it's really not that slow now.
Whether it's good, crowds, not
weather's
so much.
great, and then I think but I think if you look at the Christmas time, you can actually find some pockets in there in November, December that are probably less crowds than the first of the year, which again didn't used to be the case. May this year I think is a good pocket. May could be usually it's not too hot by May. It's getting warmer, obviously, so I think that's still pretty decent time there. But I do think May this year will be a great time to go if you're looking to go to Disney, because I don't think the park's going to be that busy during May.
Maybe not.
For sure. And then June, July is going to be a toss-up.
Yeah. Also, another week I like is the first week of March, because, again, spring break has not started. It's the beginning of Flower and Garden Festival. Weather is usually really good, and you got low-ish medium crowds. I like that week too.
True.
If I was coming to visit, actually visit as as a like an infrequent guest, didn't live in Florida, I would choose these 3 probably over other weeks.
Yeah, I would say those would be good ones.
Yeah.
I mean, even though the crowd's gonna be lower, I still wouldn't choose if I had no other choice, obviously. But it's like I would not want to do like middle of the summer if you can avoid it.
I would never choose summer. I mean, our birthdays are in the summer, so sometimes we go for our birthdays. 4th of July, we like going during 4th of July, but our kids are young enough to still they want to do like fireworks at home. So yeah, summer's just it's too hot.
I mean, you can deal with it. It's hot. Like this is the other aspect of it. But yeah, I mean, the crowds being lower lately could incentivize some people to maybe go in the summer. But
yeah.
So I mean, I think all those are good ones. Favorite. I mean, I don't think I have anything else to add. You kind of hit all the ones and the ones I mentioned. Like there's only 12 months out of the year, so there's not that many
That's
scenarios
true.
here we can really go through.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I think in terms of this year, obviously there's lots of unknowns. And crowd calendars, again, they're guesses based on the trends and things. So things can change. But I do think compared to years prior, you are looking at potentially not only maybe lower crowds, especially around the summertime area, and see how that looks going into fall with, how people either migrate from or don't go, from Epic Universe to Disney, however that checks out. And also just with like the discounts they may run too. You may be able also to find a lot of discounts when it comes to your hotels and your tickets. And there are some people that don't want to go mess with Epic Universe because they perceive the crowds being too big, or there's not a park that interests them. So it's going to get a lot of attention. You'll just see how kind of that happens with the most people that are coming to Orlando, and then you may be able to benefit from that. So it's if you're able to sort of be flexible and maybe go at the last minute, you could take advantage of some pretty good deals and lower crowds potentially.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
But yeah, so I don't have anything else to add. You got anything else to add about this?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the times that we mentioned of the lower crowd is I mean, we'll hit some of those this year. We are going right after Easter, which we wouldn't go if our family wasn't coming in, because it's a more expensive time to go, and it's a little busier. But don't do as we do as we say.
Well, sometimes you don't get choices in the matter and
Right.
things, but
Right.
yes, yeah, I see what you're saying. But yeah, so, well, all right. Well, I think that's going to do it for the show. Be sure to check us out on social media. We're at Cap the Magic everywhere, including TikTok. As long as TikTok is around. It may not be around after Sunday. I don't know.
Was it the 19th is supposed to go away?
It's supposed to.
Okay.
Apparently, the last I heard, Elon might buy it. I don't know. Apparently, he's going to buy
That's
everything.
weird. Okay.
I don't know.
We'll
see what happens. Maybe at the last minute something happens with that. But as of now, you can still find us on TikTok at Cap the Magic and everywhere else. And you can also, if you want some YouTube videos, I do daily, 2 to 3 videos a day sometimes over on the YouTube channel at Cap the Magic, cover theme parks and pop culture. I did actually a reaction to the Daredevil Born Again trailer. Spoiler alert, I liked it a lot.
Awesome.
It was very reminiscent of Deadpool season 1 and 2. Not Deadpool, sorry, Daredevil season 1 and 2, which are it's my favorite comic book adaptation to live action ever. Is that Netflix show? So hopefully that's good. But either way, do a lot of stuff over there you can check out. And of course, if you want video versions of the show over on YouTube at CTM Podcast, you can check out over there. And then be sure to check out some of the other shows on the network. We have the CTM Universal show, where we talk about Universal Studios. And we had an episode come out there on Monday where you can check that out. We finally got that one recorded through sicknesses
Huzzah.
and traveling. We kind of covered some of the stuff we did at the end of the year. And then stuff that, obviously the first part of 2025 with Epic Universe and things, like what you can look forward to in the first part of 2025 at Universal Studios. And then Jamie has Trip Tales, which is our trip report show. The next one there's coming out
Monday. I'm recording it tomorrow, finally. So yay.
Okay. And the only thing I'll mention is before you go, if you want to, again, contribute to the show, you want to kind of be part of it. It's like our own Patreon, but we just host it on our own end called Club 32. If you want to be a part of that, interact with us more, be part of a group where it's like a brain trust. You can ask people opinions about trips, or, where, a lot of people ask about dining options and best time to travel and different things like that. You can check that out. It's called Club 32. and you can check it on there. Plus, we have additional content. We have the Cool Kids Kitchen, which is a monthly live stream where we cook or make a Disney or Universal-based dish. Usually turns out pretty good. Sometimes it doesn't. It's fun either way. We have the Club 32 show every Tuesday. We hang out and chat with everybody. We have the Clubhouse. That is now a monthly show. Lots of additional content, private podcast feed. You get 20% off of CTM apparel and 1901 Candle Company products year-round. And sometimes we do live streams like room tours and things like that in the parks whenever there's things going on that people want to check out. Sometimes we live stream in there. But also, it's just a cool group to be a part of. And we have meetups. We got one coming up in a couple of weeks now as well, so you can be part of meetups and all sorts of fun stuff there. So if you want to check that out, you can go to ctmvip.com. We have monthly or yearly options. And you can even do a free trial if you want to try it out for yourself, or if you want to do a yearly, you can get a free t-shirt. But either way, you get something for free. So again, if you want to check that out, ctmvip.com is where you go for that. So, all right, well, that's going to do for the show. So thank you, everybody, for listening and or watching. And thank you, Jamie, for joining us.
Thank you.
And as Jamie always likes to say,
We will see you in the parks.
bye.